you can be a total beginner and you can start working on one thing, and it can become your life, and this is something I learned through the years, that I don't have to be the world champion to still dance or make a living out of dance.
Tomaž is
Okay.
here with us tonight, which is really, like I said before, it's really, really awesome. Friends, I would say we were closer when we were younger. Then it kind of drifted apart. He went abroad. He will share that everything, and then kind of get back together now when we're in Ljubljana, but not that close. But I have a family. He has his stuff. But anyway, whenever we talk, it's like we talked last time yesterday, so it's really not that. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
sure.
It's like we don't even lose the grip, or how to say, it's kind of that kind of a friendship. So yeah, Tomasz, anything you want to say before you start?
Actually, I'm looking forward to hear from you, what you planned, what you will ask me, what I will have to dig to
All right.
answer your questions. So I'm ready.
All right, cool. Get ready. It's gonna get nasty. No, I'm joking.
This is
Imagine.
Jarnik for you, for those who didn't know him already.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Hey, all right. So we always start with one question, and then we go for that. So how were you as a teenager? So to say it again, these talk shows are. I made them with the intention that we support people, like especially teenagers who are looking what to do in life, who doesn't see what their passion is or purpose, and for all the other people, then people said back to me that this is not just for them. It's like everybody can see themselves in this show. So in our guests and what we share. So this is basically the intention. So we start with the question like, how were you as a teenager? Like, what were you dealing with? What worked for you? What didn't work? I know you come from a family where there are 4 kids, so there was like 6 of you in a house, and all that stuff. So you start, and then we will go to this day.
Yes. Well, you would know also a lot how I was as a teenager, so you can add your contribution. But well, mostly I don't know. It was fun. I think it was fun, especially the school. The school was a lot of fun. I like to learn, and it was not like a big of a problem, so I could have a lot of fun in school. That was always nice, and also like, yeah, right around the time as I became teenager, so about 12, I also discovered dancing, which immediately became my big thing. uh, so basically, yeah, all my years were very, very similar. Go to school, go to dance practice, go home, make homework, and repeat it the next day. So it was very like structured and focused from early years. But yeah, it was. Now that I think it was fun. It was fun. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's how I remember, right? Uh,
yeah.
so meanwhile, Happy Cake it says, "What up, Shter? Happy holidays." That's Yaka, my brother. So just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yaka was dancing too. Yeah, we were all
yeah,
dancing
we were all dancing. Yeah,
together.
true that, true that. Yeah, that's also how I remember, like us hanging out. Clear picture when I think about you and how we were spending time. It was like every Friday night evening after practice. Your father was, I don't know how to say Kegliania, but bowling. Let's say
Bowling.
bowling, right? He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
bowling until like 10 or something, 10-ish, something like that, right? So we were together from I think 8:30 or 8 till that. 8:30 because we always then sprint to the Mercator and buy Mercator Cola, some cookies, and Domacica for those of you who know it. And we went someplace in Novo Mesto, and it was 2 hours of laugh, and that was like that was it. So that was like really lit. But it wasn't just laughing. It was like we also had like these debates that I didn't have with other people in my life at that point. Like we were, like you said, you like to learn. Maybe I wasn't that much into school like maybe you, but I still did it because we had similar things, right? We had like school school dancing, school dancing, and
Yeah.
then all the other things as other humans are having. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but still, there was things, right, when we grow up, like, as a teenager, your body started changing, girls start to pop up. So, how were you in that area? Like,
um, you know, now that I'm thinking back, it was just a lot of figuring stuff out. I don't know. It feels like also with dancing and the friends we had, it was it was just figuring stuff out because we all grew up at home and quite close families.
mhm.
And then I feel that with dancing we kind of started to go out in the world, and we started to figure stuff out. We were around girls all the time. We didn't know how this would go. There was a lot of these questions and answers, and but yes, it was like I would say that all these years and also with dancing later, it was just a self-discovery. It
Mhm.
was every day you go to the ballroom, you practice your stuff, you discover something new, you learn about yourself, you go to the competition, you learn about yourself, you win, you learn, you lose, you learn. And this was a lot of years that every day was something new. This is how I remember, and it was a lot of stuff to learn. And it was a lot of stuff, yeah, we shared together as well. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because it is a bit a different life than most of the, let's say, sports out there. Because it's like men and women together, or
Yeah.
boys and girls together, sharing the same wardrobe together. So it's kind of when you talk to the friends, they're all amazed. Oh, I see a girl in underwear. We were like, yeah, I did that since I was 12. I don't know, nothing special, not that special, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Or you went to a competition, and there was like this because we were all together with also the adults, like the 18 plus. I don't know how seniors is called, right, in English. And we were
Yeah, yeah, adult, yeah.
we were juniors. So you see well developed women, beautiful women at the age of 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's like all that doesn't become that much fascinating as it was maybe for our schoolmates. So, and just what you said, that's it. A lot of discovering. Every day was something new. You had to learn. You had to learn every day, like grind, 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 and on so many different levels, right?
That's true. Yeah, it's so many different levels, like you said. One is what makes dancing very special is that you work with another person day to day, and that person is the opposite sex, so that is something you have to learn very quickly, how to work together, how you're different, how you can connect. And yeah, it was also the grind, a lot of focus, a lot of
Mhm.
just dedication. I'm still kind of amazed when I look back at it, how willing we were to work every day on something that's basically very hard. But again, the result is that the more you work, the more you learn, and the more you discover. So this is something I am very grateful for.
Right, and you said before at the age of 12 you discovered dancing. So maybe can you tell more about that? Because it's not popular that the guys end up in dancing. So
Definitely.
how actually did you come into a connection with it, and what made you then stay?
Yeah, it was nothing by design. I didn't know anything about dancing or that I wanted to dance. I did like I was a sporty kid. We were playing basketball and football and all this stuff. And one day, just like a few of my neighbors went to dance practice, um, I joined just because they were doing it,
Mhm.
and immediately I liked it. It was movement, it was focus, it was music, it was I think this focus, and it was challenging. This is what I liked, and from the very like I started dancing quite late, but immediately I became very drawn to it and started competing and stuff. So I think for me it was just the whole process. You go to the dance ballroom, you put on your shoes and you start working. And I think for many years it became like my my happy place where I go, I put everything behind, I put on the music and, dance and work. So I think that's the thing I like, but it was like never by any that I saw someone or my parents drove me to it. It was by pure coincidence.
Yeah, but that is mostly how you discover passion in life anyway. Like always, it's like it's by coincidence. You just start, you're like you end up in some place, and then you're doing something, and your heart is just fully pumped. It's just like this is it, this is it, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, and if you stick to it, then that's how you basically discover passion and then go with it, right? And then you mentioned before, right? The opposite sex, the coaches who are also the both sex. It's not just female coach or male coach. It's like both of them, and then all these different types of it's a Latin American ballroom dances and stuff like that. But if you look back in those years of high school, like what was the most challenging things at that time? Like there you said it's coordination with the opposite sex at the let's say earliest age, right? And it's like you don't usually you do that if you have a girlfriend, but we start dancing even before we went into those discovery of romantic
Yeah.
relationships, right? So it's like it's all there.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. If I speak up firstly about what you said here, it's like for me, you don't even, because you're kind of like a teammate. You start working together, and like all the couples are 50-50, a boy and a girl, a man and a woman, and you don't even, because you're exposed to that so frequently, so early, you don't even see the difference. So you don't even see the difference so much. It's like you just work together, and I think that's a big plus, because you just kind of see women and men on the same level. You're in this together. Of course there are differences, emotionally, physically, and this is what you have to learn. But I think that's a big, like a plus, that you have that you have the opportunity to do this, because you know like you said, if you don't dance, then a lot of times it's like girls do stuff together, boys do stuff together, and there's no interconnection. And this was a big thing that you learn through dancing. Yeah. But for me, the most challenging, I think, is just like it challenges you. I think I had like stuff on self-confidence and self-image, that you discover through dancing. How, what you like about yourself, what you don't like, what you um, all the characteristic that comes out when you pursue something very seriously. And this is, I think, what was the most challenging for me. Maybe this, yeah, the self-confidence part, that you believe in yourself, that you go out, that you show your best. This was all the stuff that yeah, I think I was challenging very early. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I you just kind of put me back into that. It was also for self confidence for me. And I remember, like when we went to the dance ballroom, right, the dance that or a dance competition, we were like, you were being self confident, like you put yourself best out, you did what you think will work, right? But immediately when you put on the regular shoes and go out like with friends or in a classroom, right? For me, I was in a sports classroom, so I had the skiers who were all the time around, the Spela badminton superstar at that time, right? And the basketball and other players. It's like, being a dancer wasn't that self-confident for me. It's like, it was something like I'm underrated, and in that regard, if you can say more about like the self, if you had, I don't know your experience about self-confidence, but I remember this was for me. It's like on the dance floor, even though we were not trained by top coaches, we know that at that time, and we were not top in the country, but still we went out there and did our best with all the mistakes included.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, a few interesting points there. It's like, yeah, dancing was not cool. It was not cool when you're young, and it's not cool when you're a guy. When you become an adult, like 20 plus, then people think it's cool that you can dance. But yeah, when you're young, it's not that is not a thing, and you always have to battle a little bit. He's a guy and he's dancing. Why he's dancing? That's a little bit weird. And yes, it makes you kind of feel you're different and maybe challenges your self-confidence. But I think like in the long run, it also builds your self-confidence because you are different and you get used to that feeling that you're different. That maybe people don't understand you, but you like that, you believe in this, and you're just going to stick with dancing no matter what people think. And like I said, it's also rewarding that when you become older and more successful, that you get rewards for that, because you were able to stick with it, even though not all the people understood, or it was not something that was very much celebrated, when we were young. And on the other point, that you're confident on the dance floor but not in the life, this is like, in some point, it's very easy to be confident with something that you do every day. You put a lot of hours in, a lot of practice, then of course you're going to be confident, which is like a good, in a way, it's a good lecture that if you put in the work, no matter what happens, you're going to feel good and you're going to feel proud and confident. So yeah, I think that speaks to that if you want to feel confident and if you want to feel good, then the work, the practice comes before that, and then this confidence will be the logical conclusion, I think.
Yeah, definitely, right. And just what you mentioned, it was weird, right, to be a dancer. And I remember,
Sure.
people think, oh, you're a dancer, every other sport you suck. And I remember, we did these little competitions in high school in football, and we played even against the guys who were training football, and they were like, oh, it's us two against those two dancers, we can take them easy. And then we beat them, and then they were all surprised. And because they don't know, right? It was cool. I mean, it was really cool and it was funny. Let me just throw this away. So, so especially because because dancing really develops you in so many ways. It's not just it's the relations. It's like coordination. It's all these types, and it's something that we really grew early. Like I say, even though if you're a guest, but we kind of went through
Sure.
that and all that, right? Besides that, I mean, if I look back, what was challenging, it was also right all this driving, man. Every weekend competition. You went, from Novo Mesto to in Koroška region, after 3.5 hour drive to compete. And if you were, if you didn't do good, you went out in the first round and you had to wait for the guys who were like in the finals and wait them, like spending all day there. And you dance for 20 minutes, so all that, right? All the practices in driving to Ljubljana, like every Friday or Wednesday, like after school, go in the car, go to Ljubljana, train there, come home at 10 in the evening, right?
Yeah.
While most of our classmates were like it's in a different path, like the people same age.
Yeah, sometimes even I'm surprised, like that we were willing to, because I see it in young dancers, they're just not willing to put so much work and focus in, because it's a lot of hours driving and challenges on competitions and practice and stuff. And sometimes even I'm surprised when I look back how dedicated we are. But on the other hand, it's not that I want to make it sound how we were just sacrificing ourselves. It was like we liked it. We had friends. I think that was a big thing when we were younger, because when you get older, then it becomes more serious and you have your own goals and stuff. But when we were younger, it was just hanging out with friends, doing the same thing, and we liked it. We liked going to practice, going to competitions, even though we had very little time for school or some fun activities. But I think the big thing that we that we endured all that we just had fun. And this is like something maybe we forgot when we were older, that everything has to be serious and a lot of work. But if you don't have fun, doing this, especially if something you do every day, it's not going to work.
Yeah, you nailed it here. And happy cake it throat. Yeah, in high school, I think we spent more time on practice and competitions than in school, actually.
For sure, yeah.
For sure, it was like that. And I remember here goes a big acknowledgement to our parents. I mean, they were driving us around. It's like, they finished their job, whatever it was. And they did take turns, because more or less, two couples went together in the same car, so each time one parent. But still, it's like somebody's mom or somebody's dad drive you from Novo Mesto to Ljubljana 1 time per week, and being there for 5-6 hours while we were having training, right? And like you said, I mean, that is a huge thing, right? And I think that was altogether was like that. Our parents were with us, like really supporting us. We really liked it. We, even though we've, like, to be honest, sucked at competitions in the beginning. It was just like, it was suck after suck. I mean, it was like it. I don't know. It took time that we even came. If somebody was third, it was like a huge celebration. It was like we won a world champion. But just like you said, the fun, right? And this is it, actually. This is going with the intention of these talk shows. It's like, you find your passion, you pursue it, and put all these ingredients counts. In our cases, it was like being friends that really counted. Like, we all hang each other, make jokes around, like, spending time together. Like, during the summers, it was like a 1 or 2 week we spent in Ljubljana in those work weeks, and discovering, like, and it's really like it was, like you said it now. I forgot about it, to be honest. It was fun, and it was friends, and then it was easy. It's like
it was easy.
It was never hard to pick up a bag and go.
It's interesting, because in a way it was so easy, even though it was very hard. It's like it's a very interesting combination. It was like so challenging, but we just wanted to do it. And I remember this feeling for many, many, many years after that. Everything else that happened in my life, I just want to keep doing this. This was the focus, and it was so simple, because it was just, you knew this is what you want. But I have to also say about the point about the parents. It's like no one does anything on their own, and there was a lot of factors that came in. That dancing is expensive, so there was financial support. There was the driving, the taking us there, buying us stuff. Also, what was very nice back then, and I'm probably sure that it doesn't exist nowadays anymore, how there was the community. The parents worked together, the club worked together. Like it was a village, that kind of supported us. Not like a literal village, like Birchna Vas, but like the village of people that was supporting us. But it was because of us. It's because this is what we wanted. It's because it was clear that this is something we like, and it's our passion. And then, of course, there are parents, and they will support us. But I think that happens, also on other areas in life. If you have something you like, and you're willing to work for it, and you're passionate for it, there will be other people that will support that, because you need that support. You cannot do it on your own. And that was also very clear in our careers.
Yeah, definitely, right. That is important. What you just exposed, and exactly that was it. It was really a community. It was just like, even though most of us danced in the same level, like we were competitors. Like, we compete against each other in competitions. And there was never arguing between us. It's like, if you end up fourth, I end up fifth. I didn't go after you like, hey man, what is it was not never between us. It's like it just wasn't there, because there are judges. They decide, and you knew, all right, and we kind of pushed each other in that way. So you were fourth, I was fifth. I don't know. Jake was sixth. All right. So next time, what can I do to be better? You took new classes. It was just like, it was about grinding in in how to become better, not how to put other people down. It was like, because
Sure.
we were training in the same ballroom, so there could be many things we could do to prefer. Like, my father was the president of the club, so we could go like preference. So okay, we got better conditions because blah blah blah. But it was never like that. It was always like we are equal, supporting each other, and how to make each other better. It was really not stepping on anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also like, it's, of course, we did the work, like all of us, all of the sportsmen all over the world. It's like we did it, but the environment was good. It was right. It was like, it kind of naturally pushed us in this way, because there was, good coaches and good atmosphere, and, healthy competition and stuff. And I think that's very important. It's like, I can do this all I want, because yes, I did put in the work, but the environment that we were in was as important, because it gave us all these kind of nice things that we were able to progress and, like you said, challenge each other and support each other if needed. And yeah, this is something, yeah, we can appreciate looking back.
Yeah, exactly. And as I remember, it's like, just like what you said, because we had those sparkle in the eyes, when we were talking about dancing, the competition, what we want to do, when the club was starting, the parents asked us, are you willing to put in the work? And we were like, as a dancer, we were like, yeah, we're going to do it. We want to compete. Let's do it. We were all on the same page, grinding together. And that was just, and then it's not, I think as a parent, I don't know, I will discover it in a few years, but it's not hard to support your kids when they have those sparkle in the eyes. That is like, that is like the easiest thing to do for the parent. Even though on the other hand, just like for us, it was fun and it was hard, the same was for them. But I think, as I look now, all the guys we dance together, we all like, in a way, we really prospered in life. It's like, you will share, like, you traveled a lot, some people already have families, good jobs, like, get some discipline, the confidence, that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's it just gives you something, and or in the other, you can turn it around. How much you give, this is how much you get back. So yeah, I think I look at it this way. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then after high school, how did you decide for that? Is a big question every time, right? After you finishing high school, like we went to the same school, gymnasium, and deciding for the faculty. It's like, how
Yeah.
did you decide for that? Because that is another thing that teenagers are dealing with.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, it was easy because dancing was the first thing, and it's like, I know that's different for some people, because some people just know what they want to do, and some people, search for what they want to do. But it's also different in life. Maybe, some people know when they're young what they're gonna do, and they maybe struggle a little bit later when they have to change that or something. But for me, it was very clear. Dancing was number one, and I wanted to continue dancing, and this was my main focus. And was something that I wanted to revolve my life around. But also, like, I liked school, so my thing is just like, okay, I'm just gonna choose something that I'm the most interested in. Like it was with dancing, it was just interesting to me. And in my case, that was like, I went to the Faculty of Social Studies, because that was like the most broad thing. It was not very specific. It's not like something, I don't know, mechanical engineering or something. And I went with this. Like, I liked this, social sciences, humanistic sciences, to learn about people and society and culture. And basically, I choose just, the program that, when I look at the subjects, I said, okay, this is going to be the most interesting to me. which I think, it's a way to go. Some people, choose something that's more practical, or, they have a vision or a job in mind. But basically, this is what I did, and this is kind of how I operate. But I have to admit that also, like, school and studying was just something that I did beside dancing. It was never the main focus.
Yeah, because I remember two things, right? We kind of grew then apart. Like in the last year of high school, I went to I trained dancing in the other side of the country, so we didn't spend the weekends together anymore. And then when I stopped, it's like it goes apart, far from the eyes, far from the heart in that manners. But
Yeah.
and then when I was looking at you, I stopped dancing at the age of 18, this Latin American ballroom. I mean, you keep on grinding, and I was like, man, I was fascinated by that because, to be honest, by my opinion, I think you would be so much better in some other aspect than dancing. That was
Like what?
like you said, the social studies. I don't know. I see you more like as a teacher, as a professor. Like when you were a coach, I was like, all right, cool. But I'm just putting out
Yeah,
because I
sure,
lose
sure.
this touch, right? And I didn't even know that you picked. Why did you pick that faculty? It was always a how to say uh what is it called, the mystery for me. It was always a
Okay.
mystery for me, right? Why did you pick that? Because I know we talked a little later on, and you said I don't know how I will get a job, because I asked you how do you get a job.
Yeah,
But
sure,
it's like,
sure.
but I have also never really knew that you said that you wanted to build your life around dancing. For me, it was like,
Yeah,
all right, he will keep on competing, he will get better and better, and then at one point he'll stop. And what will he gonna do with his education, right? So that that
sure. Yeah.
that was me when I thought about you. So right now you just gave me a new perspective. Like, all right, cool. I didn't know that you were so focused on the dancing that you wanna build your life around it. So
But yeah, but this is
yeah.
also a little bit of looking back,
Yeah.
because at the time, that for me, that was just logical. Okay,
Mm,
of course I'm gonna dance. I like dancing. I'm gonna continue. Okay, I'm gonna choose this, university. It's like, you know, I was just following that instinct, even though I didn't know exactly. I didn't know if I'm gonna, be a professional dancer, if I'm gonna earn money with that. I didn't know if, what will happen with this education that I got. It's just something that was very kind of clear, and it was just in front of me, that
mm,
okay, I like dancing. I'm going to continue doing that until I don't,
mm,
and yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, that perspective, because also some other people say to me that, they don't see me as a dancer, that maybe I could do some other stuff. But for me at the time, it was just so clear,
mm,
that I will continue this as long as I want and it serves me. And this is what I did. And it's also like, yeah, I choose the university I choose. It was mostly because of the curiosity and the interest. I try not to just, because, in our mind, we become very clever and we think, okay, if I do this, then this will happen, and then, I'll get this job and this
mm,
money and this house and whatever. And I didn't, I could not think like that. I just, automatically picked what I like. And for my personality, also, it was something that was not very focused,
mm,
because this is, I like, expanding and have things a little bit broader. Because if I choose, I don't know, law or biology or it's quite specific,
mm.
and so I choose just social study, cultural studies, because it's a wide field, and I feel, for me, they just feel good to learn from many different angles. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it goes really good with your next step. So you were dancing with Stasha for quite a long time, right? Since the age of 12
10
until
years.
10 years, right?
Yeah.
And then in between, you two were also a couple and stuff like that. We can touch that a little later, but go with the dancing career. It's just like, then you stop dancing with her, right? It's just like you have this big passion. I want to dance, right? And this type of dancing, it's all about couple dancing. So it's like, the dancer is a necessity if you want to do something.
Sure.
So after stop dancing with her, it's like how hard that decision was after 10 years, or how easy it was.
Um,
I never asked you guys that, so.
yeah, we danced for 10 years, and and we were a couple in between. Then we stopped being a couple, and we continued to dance for, I think, like a year. We had a nice development. We start going international competitions, and uh, taking lessons around the world, and it was good. But after 10 years, just you know um, you just kind of lose the energy a little bit. There's we didn't push each other, I think, as much anymore.
All right, you still with us? All right, but I think we lost it. It happens. Yeah, Karina, I will ask you that question, definitely. So if you guys have any question, any comments, feel free to do it. You can watch this as a TV, or you can just be with us and be in the conversation. It's like, it's not necessary that only I ask questions. You guys can ask them too, just like Karina did. So yeah, we lost you in between. So you said after we lost you when you said that you kind of stopped pushing each other.
Yeah, after 10 years, also like, to be very honest, just the results wasn't as good as as we want. We were like 20 years old, and we you know we started late, so, and we just weren't the most talented, and the most achieving couple, and the results weren't there, and we just kind of naturally felt maybe it's just time to try something new. We tried a lot. Our coaches were behind us. They were giving us everything they could. They were motivating us, but I think it was just a time that we felt something needs to happen. And yeah, then we split, and we both found a new partner, and we went from there. Yeah.
Right. So where did you go
Yeah.
from there?
And for me, it was just like, it was, I was 20 years old. My results was not as good. I wanted to keep dancing. Dancing is very expensive. My parents supported me for already 10 years. So what I'm going to do now, basically you have like two options, because on the high level, there's just, it's really hard to get partner from Slovenia, because there's so few of us on the high level. So basically you need to find a partner from another country. So someone can come to Slovenia, or you can go somewhere else. That's basically how it goes. And Slovenia, especially when we were young, and it was just hard to earn money. That's the reality. You need a lot of money to support yourself, and that's the thing with dancing, that you need to keep developing for many years before you become like really really good, and that takes a lot of money. And basically my only realistic option was to go abroad. In my case, that was Canada, where I got an opportunity to have a new partner, and especially to work. And this was like, I think that was like a year, or maybe more than 1 year. It was basically, I was in a studio for 10, 11 hours a day. I was either practicing or working, because I had to pay, for lessons, for traveling, and being abroad gives you that opportunity. Yeah. And this is like, the dancing was good, and the partner was good, and the new environment was good, but the main reason was just to earn enough money.
Right. Can you give us a perspective, like what was the difference, the income difference, if you are a coach in Slovenia and abroad?
Well, it's not, because Canada is a good country. I was later in Denmark. It's not the financial difference. Is there's a big financial difference. There's just a lot of more work. Because Slovenia is a small country. You have 1,000 dance schools and 1,000 very good coaches, and 100 kids that still dance. So you cannot work like 10 hours a day or 5 hours a day.
Mm.
And there are many countries where they have a lot of students, a lot of young people or adult people that want to dance, and they just don't have enough quality teachers and coaches. So this is what I did. Because basically, unfortunately, dancing unless you come to a very high level, you need to teach, to support yourself. Just the shows and the competition money is not enough. So yeah, this is like, I think, yes, I was dancing, but I think the reality is not much different for many young people, that they are very good at something they do and they don't find opportunities in Slovenia, or they're not paid enough, and they're kind of they take the chance and go somewhere else where they are more rewarded for what they know.
Yeah, exactly. I have two questions out of that. First one is, why do you think that, in Slovenia we had so many good coaches and outside they're not? Just, it's, for me, it's a phenomenon, right? That is a phenomenon. Comparing to other countries, it's like we are really populated with, almost in whichever club you go, you will be trained by a high skilled coach, and you can guarantee in the international competitions be, let's say, among top 50 dancers. If there is 200 couples, you can be top 50 for sure. So, and that is, and we have so many world champions, like in Latin American, in combined, in only ballroom dances. That is like, it's really a phenomenon besides all the other sports in Slovenia. So what do you think is, from your experience being abroad and being here, is the main difference that we had that and
Well, I
elsewhere?
think one reason goes back to what we were discussing earlier. It's the environment and the system. It just, I don't know, in the 60s, 70s, and later on, the dancing system was just very well positioned. There were good quality coaches that just passed on the knowledge, and it was very systematic, and it was very popular at the time. So there was a lot of people dancing, and every generation had good dancers coming out of it. And yeah, it's just a matter, it's just in a cultural traditional thing, from the last few 10 years. And a lot of countries don't have that, like I was in Canada, today it's very popular in China and Asia, and they just don't have this culture and they don't have this tradition, so they need people who are better than them. And the other thing is, like, I don't know, why are so many Slovenian athletes so successful? Like in every sports, basically, from extreme skiing to normal skiing to basketball to endurance sports. It's just, I don't know. We are, I think that's maybe a character of the nation, that, you find people that, pursue their passion, or they're willing to work for it. And dancing is no exception. We have few numbers because we are a small country, but we have a high percentage of very successful sportsmen or dancers. So I think that's just something that maybe speaks to Slovenian sport, or Slovenian, this kind of willingness to go for it in general, I think.
Yeah, I think you said it well. So before I go to the next question about then Canada is, Karina asked earlier, you said it helped with your self-confidence that you were different. Can you give us an example how this helped you later in life?
Well, it's like, society has many, many rules, how you should look, how you should behave, how you should talk, what you should do when you're 20 years old, 25, 30. It's a very, in my opinion, it's a very narrow thing, It's also like what women should do, what a man should do, what, and if you're different, like we were at a young age because we were dancers, then then you kind of get this kind of a little bit of tough skin, because it's not that I wanted to stop dancing because people said it was a bit weird, but you just get used to it. You get used to the comments, you get used to maybe people say some stuff, and then it's easier to do it in other areas. Because let's say like you know, now you are, I think we're breaking up again.
No, all good.
Okay,
All
cool.
good.
It's like
I'm
you
just
started
with
like,
you and focusing.
sure,
So
okay. Because every time you start something new and different, this is what you're gonna experience. You're gonna experience people are gonna like you started a podcast and a broadcasting, and I'm sure that it's not something you did before, and maybe some people think, why is he doing that? You know, or whatever. It could be anything, and you just kind of have to get used to it, used to the fact that not everyone is gonna like what you do or understand what you do. And I think dancing was just like a, not that we choose that, we just like to dance, and then people decided that's a little bit weird. So yeah, I think then it becomes easier to maybe make some decisions that are a little bit different. So this is, I think, where this self-confidence comes from. You just have to, if you like something, if you want something, you just have to keep doing it, and then this confidence comes later. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what you said, I couldn't put it better. And it is like that because thinking about it is like always felt different than everybody else since the young age, and then you kind of now that you put in that place, kind of makes it also clear for me. So I started dancing at the age of 8, which most guys went football, basketball, athletics, whatever. But I was dancing, me and one other schoolmate. That is why Andraš. I started dancing because he was in, and we were good friends. So that's how I started, and then it kind of makes it right. Well, all my life I feel different than most of the people, and I probably do different things than most of the people. Or I think I do different things than most of the people, right? So and like you said, you just build it up. You kind of get used to it, right? So starting streaming or gaming competitively at the age of 34 for most people it's like lunatic. It's not, that's not normal. That's not, you don't do that at that age. You do that when
Sure,
you're
you should
17,
work
20.
at the bank or whatever.
Yeah, I should work an 8-hour job, right?
Yeah.
Or do something that has steady and safety because family here is now. So all these I'm dealing with that as well, these kind of comments, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but, people who are close to me believe in me, and that's all that is important. And that is another thing that how this helped us later in life. I would say that you kind of just find the people who are the same mindset, and then that makes much easier. Have those kind of people around you, it makes it a lot easier to do what you want to do.
Yeah, sure. It really helps that there are people who understand you and why you're doing it, and give you support, or even if they don't understand, because that's your own thing, that's your own path. But they give support, and also you learn that, okay, but also not everybody has to support you. Not everybody has to understand you. Not everybody needs to feel what you feel. It's like it's your life, it's your journey. And yeah, because every time you're going to try something new, you're going to try to change things up, or try something challenging, this feeling will come up. Am I weird? Why am I doing this? Does this make sense? Especially if it's something or profession that's a little bit different, these kind of feelings will come up. Or am I good enough? Will this work? Will I succeed? So that happens many times in life, and you just kind of, it helps if you're used to that feeling a little bit, that it doesn't scares you, or it doesn't put you back too much.
Oh, exactly what you said. It doesn't scares you, and it doesn't put you back. You go after it, even though it's really uncomfortable. That's it. You just go after it. All right, and then Happy Cake gets commented, we have to make a get together after this COVID, since it feels like it ages ago when we all saw each other, because that team was, I think, one of the most connected ones. We can definitely organize that. You with us? You kind of froze again. Not kind of a froze, you froze again. All right. We'll wait for him to go back. Yeah, those were great times. Having Tomaž here, it's like, if you ask me honestly, I don't even remember all the competitions we went to, man. There were so many competitions, like, and for me it feels like that was whole different life. Like, I didn't even experience that in that life. All right, you're back. Did you hear me all the time, or?
No, it was a little bit breaking up. Can you
Yeah.
repeat?
Yeah, no. So Happy Cake it says that we have to make a get together after this COVID, because uh it feels like it ages ago when we all saw each other, and that team was, I think, one of the most connected ones.
Who said that?
My bro. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. It was, yeah, it was like a very special time. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely we can organize it. I mean, in these
yeah,
days, hook up some numbers and get a date and time, and that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I just shared, having you in this show, I start remembering the all the competitions, and I don't even remember them all because there were so many. I think there was like, I don't know, 50 competitions per season. If it's not, I mean 50, but at least 30 competitions per season every week, different places, even international later on. And it's just like, and for me, it feels like it was. I didn't even experience this in this life. For me, it
Yeah.
feels, because I'm not in dancing anymore. So for me, it's like, I did it until I was 26, and then I stopped continuing to hip hop from ballroom. But it was just like, if you ask me now, it's like I never was a dancer. To be honest, I really have to think about it. It's just like,
Yeah.
doing all these other stuff. It's, for me, it's like whole another life. So in that regard, it's also to have you here, kind of brings back all the memories. Yeah, all the competition stuff we went through, and those were the most fun times. So practices was fun, but what we do outside of practice and the competitions, when you have to travel, and then all shaped up,
Yeah, yeah,
the hairs, like, the amount of powder, or what is that, yeah, powder that we put on our faces, and
yeah,
the hair products that we put in our hairs. It's like, most people do that in their whole lifetime, and even though if they're
yeah. That
something,
that was the part of the job. That's
yeah,
why we were a little bit weird, but we just took that on. It
right.
didn't bother us.
Yeah, exactly. Even sometimes we looked weird. We put on some powder that was like too white, and then you look at the picture and you're like, why were I wearing that,
Yeah, but like,
man? you know
it's nice when you're young that you
yeah,
can experience this kind of things, because that you can make this kind. Yeah, you can look stupid, or you can look. You can experience. Just this new stuff, because when we are older, we very rarely take the opportunity. To
mm,
I don't know, try something new or just look stupid a little bit.
yeah, true that. All right, go back, right? So we're now in Canada with you. So what was the experience like? You said you were in more or less in the ballroom 10 to 11 hours per day, so most of the rest of the day is sleeping and resting. But still,
Yeah.
being out there at the age of 20 on your own, earning your own money, like working, that's like, you were employed in, so to speak, in a foreign country, right? So how was that whole experience for you?
Well,
I mean, first of all, maybe
um,
maybe maybe I'll give the other question. How did you first adapt to that? Like, how did you embrace it? Was that hard? It was really challenging, or it was like a fish in the water?
I think, of course, it was challenging, but again, because this force, this desire to dance was so strong. Again, it did not feel, that it's like I had a reason why I'm doing all that. Leaving school, leaving family, going there, working hard. I knew very clearly why I'm doing that, which
Mm,
helped. So what I learned, like, I think one thing is cultural, that I think that everybody who lives abroad, or even changes cities or whatever, for a certain period of time, discovers that, okay, these people here live, their lives are different than our lives.
mm,
Let's say, okay, the Canadians, they live differently as the Slovenian people. And this just kind of, it makes you think a little bit. That it, it because okay, when you live in Slovenia, in our case, you just think that this is the way things are. Everybody does this, everybody goes to church, everybody, I don't know, speaks like that, everybody drinks this, and you just naturally you just kind of adopt this is how people live. And then you go somewhere else and you think, okay, they have different food, they have different conversation, they have different values. And not that what they do or think is matters specifically, but just kind of you just started thinking that things don't have to be like you're used to, things don't have to be like you grow up. And this is what I learned. This was like an interesting experience, that even if it's a small thing, I don't know, people have big cars because they drive all the time or whatever. It's like they all the time they eat fast food, but it just makes this switch that things can be different. And I think that is something. Like if I talk more specifically, what I liked a lot about this Canadian and American culture is this: they're very supportive and very open. They kind of cheer for you. They're maybe a little bit too enthusiastic. If you say something, they say, yeah man, great for you, like, do it, it's gonna work out, you can do it. And in Slovenia, this is much more, the energy around that is much more heavy.
Yeah, I mean,
in Slovenia, it's much more heavy. It's like, you say you're going to do something and people are like, okay, why are you doing that? Maybe it's not going to work out. You should be careful. And I felt good. I honestly, I felt good in this American energy because it makes you a little bit more relaxed, more free. You're not so tighten up. Also, like, for me, it was kind of fun that I didn't know anyone. You're there, no one, or even no one knows you. You're a little bit more relaxed because it's not like your mom thinks that, your neighbor is gonna say this, your teacher is gonna say this. It's like you
kind
feel a
of a
little
you
bit
doing
more
you.
relaxed and comfortable, to just, especially when you're young, especially just to kind of, be more relaxed, have fun, try new things. So I think that was like, now thinking of it, like the main benefits, I think that are very good if you go live abroad or just change the environment a little bit, that you kind of see that it's not so static, it's not so set in stone, everything. Yeah.
All right, cool. And I can just join in to, because I lived in Denmark for 10 months studying there, but it is that experience. You just have time to do you. It's like,
Yeah.
really do you. It's like, you do what you want to do when you want to do it. There is nobody who will say that is good or bad, like, because all those people are like not around, and you are kind of in the environment where people, like in a student case, it's like you're with students from other countries who have the similar experience. And in your case, you're like, you come abroad, but people support you. They know you come abroad, you're not used to, so they will cheer for you, they will support you, so you go do, and you are still, I mean, you are a good dancer, and it's kind of a, people will look up to you, right? So it's a really cool place to come in and discover things.
Sure, it is. It's like, I wish that we would have this chance more often, change the environment, change the people, change the challenge, or because, when you're like in any environment, it's not that it's bad, but it's just you kind of a little bit, you get stuck into it, that if you're around same people or around same energy or same culture, then, it just gets a little bit repetitive and stale. And it's like you said, yeah, if you go somewhere that's a little bit less strings attached to you, then yeah, like that is the good phrase you used. You have time to do yourself. Yeah, like,
right.
Yeah.
And just what you shared, that is it, right? You get in this comfort zone, right? It's like, I talk to many foreigners also coming to Slovenia, and their impression of Slovenia is, you guys are fine. It's like fine. In Slovenia, living is fine. It's like it's not the most exciting thing in the world, and it's not, you know, the most horrible thing. You know, it's fine. You know, and even when you go ask people how are you, we all say I'm fine. Like, okay, I'm doing okay. No matter how they really do, we're all doing okay all the time, you know, and being used to this comfort zone. I think this whole situation now, kind of the circumstances are pushing us, you know, to go into the next level. They're like giving us the opportunity, you know, try something different and stuff like that. Or, you know, you can complain, but that's whole another topic not to be discussed here. Anyway, all right. So, you know, you've been out there in Canada, and you said I've been there for 1 year and a half, and you know, it kind of makes a logic that you stopped dancing up there. So, what did you do then?
Yeah, I will just say another thing about what you said about Slovenia. It's like also when you go abroad and you come back, I think what most of us discover that life in Slovenia is very good.
Exactly.
Like we are, it's very popular to complain and criticize, you know, how people are and what government is and whatever. But people, like, it's not that I'm, you know, being smart to anyone, but we just have to realize and appreciate that we have a very good life here and a very comfortable life. It's fine, like you said, it's fine. It's like the nature is good, it's safe, the opportunities are good, the water is good, you know, and also like you know, it is quite comfortable. When you go abroad, you discover that a lot of places people work much harder, and they have to work harder, and they have more challenges, or you know, some places even, you know, the physical environment is not as safe and as healthy. So yes, this is what we have here, and it's good and bad. It's like very comfortable and nice to live, but it's also a little bit you know, it's just so nice. You go for a coffee, you know, you go for a coffee, you go for a beer, you complain a little bit about, you know, everything that's going on, you talk about your neighbors, and that's it, you know, nothing else happens. So, you know, but okay, that's another point.
Yeah, no, but it's good that, you know, we both having experience from abroad, and then actually we can compare from experience, which is whole another thing that compare from opinions, right? So,
yeah,
so that is that is good to point that out here, you know, and maybe we just, you know, we inspire somebody to go live out there, try it out there, or you know, they kind of become more grateful to be here. And
I would challenge everybody to try to do that, even if it's just for a few months. It's studying, working, traveling, whatever. Because if you're all the time in one place and you never have a chance to look at it from other perspectives, you're never gonna know. And it's a very good thing. But also, like what I discovered in the end, because I was, you know, a lot of places in the world, that life is very good here, and you know, you in the end you don't have to live abroad, because here we have so many things, and even if some things are not perfect, you can generally be we can be very happy with what we have.
Yeah, great point. And you said I've been to many places, so you know, stop being in Canada. What was the next stop?
Yeah, so yeah, then I was in Canada, and the results were going better, and I was, you know, I was getting better, and everything was getting better. And then I kind of had this, we went our last, no, like few of our last competitions were in Europe and in England. And then I kind of had this feeling that I'm going to develop better as a dancer if I'm going to go back to Europe. Because Canada was very good working wise, and also dancing wise, but it's not like the dancing center of the world. You know, we have to travel to America to take lectures. So my idea was that if I come back to Europe or to Slovenia, I'm going to develop so much better. And so I decided to come back, have a new partner here. And, you know, in Slovenia, like we said before, there were many good coaches, many good couples, very good studio environments. But again, I had no work. You know, and I was here for a few months, and I started collecting debt because I just did not have the opportunity to earn enough money. So, you know, that basically made my plan fail, because you can be very can have good environment, and you can have everything you want, but if you don't have the money to support it, it cannot happen. So I went back. I went to Denmark this time, and I had a new partner in Denmark. I had good coaches there. It was very similar to Canada. I had like very good conditions, and it was good for work. But basically, this is where I ended my career. I think I was about 25 years old at the time, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, I grew a little bit tired of it, like just this relentless pushing for results, and there was less joy. There was less joy. There was all this pushing for competing and for making money. Also, I didn't kind of find the right partner that I would, build this project together. And yeah, then just came the decision that, I'm going to stop the competitive dance. Also, I was like, for whatever reason, maybe a little bit financial, maybe I was not the most talented, maybe also I had some, things I needed to work on, that just the result didn't happen. The result didn't happen as much as I wanted. And when you're 25, you're a little bit already, you need to have some results if you're gonna want to try to become the top result dancer, which I wanted to do. And it didn't go that way, and basically I just then decide I'm gonna stop dancing competitively.
Cool. It is what it is, and you will say more about that. But at that point, the funny thing is that we were in Denmark at the same time.
Yeah,
that was the funny thing, man. So I was looking to study abroad, and I was in a tourism spectrum of masters in Faculty of Economics. So there was 2 locations, Spain or Denmark. And I never was a fan of Spain, so immediately I was like, Denmark, yeah, that's better, right?
Yeah.
So I went up there, and then somehow you also appeared up there. I don't remember correctly if you were before me. I think it was that way, but I don't remember exactly. I came in August that year, so and we also met up there. And I think after you left, I still did a hip hop and some condition training for what was her name?
For the school, I thought.
For the school,
I remember
yeah,
this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fascinating. He living abroad, came from Canada, go to Denmark, and then I go to Denmark. We kind of in the same country. We didn't spend much time together, though, due to I lived on the West Coast and you were in what is it?
I was in Aarhus.
Aarhus, yeah, Aarhus. Yeah. So and trains in Denmark, traveling for us is expensive. It's like it's not,
it was. And
for me. It was for me as a student. You were earning money, so maybe it was a little less, but because you were paid. But for me, it was like I get this Erasmus scholarship, which was 300 euros, and I paid the rent.
Right? Yeah.
So and I couldn't afford to work because I was still a university and stuff like that, and there was no really that thing. So my parents gave me another 300 euros with which I needed to survive. And food up there, it's more expensive than with us. Or you can get cheap food. You can get cheap food, but then the quality drops, and
it was very expensive. And it was also this period, at least for me, it was still so focused. This is also something I didn't like so much, that when you go so much into one thing, you need to be so dedicated, that you need all your life almost revolves around one thing, which is like what every sportsman know, or every professional. And that was still this period when I was in Denmark. It was just dancing all the time. And also I was a little bit tired of that, but I remember you were there. I forgot, and now I remembered.
Right. And like you said, it is like that. You are locked in.
you're locked in. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're locked in, there is not much time. Even if like we were in the same country, we didn't meet much because you were being locked in. I was being on the like not that other side. Orcus is like in the middle, right, and the Copenhagen is on the east side on the island. But still,
Mhm.
it's like just don't get the time together. It's just like it's really impossible because
Yeah.
you're locked in, and that's not important at that time, and that's understandable. And
Yeah, it's true. I feel like for this is for me for many things. It's like now it's a little bit different, but when you're really invested in one thing, it's like everything else kind of feels like unnecessary.
yeah, a
It's like
distraction.
there's a distraction, a burden. But looking back, this is not necessarily the thing.
Mhm.
It's very important, no matter what you do, that you make time and energy for other things to come in your life, because whatever you do, even if you like it so much, if it's going to be too much invested in this, it's gonna consume you too much, or it's gonna become like a stress, because
Yeah.
that's all you do and all you think about. And it can be just like hanging out with friends or watching movies, or taking a break now and there, or go travel or something. But it's very important to kind of um, to step outside of what you do most of the time, and try to just relax and not think about it all the time. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. It can suffocate you. That is
Yeah.
the simple thing. I mean, with all the willingness, even though there is passion and the willingness and dedication and commitment, but if it can suffocate you in that too much, especially like you said, when there are no results. Like if there would be results, if you would be winning competition after competition, then you're kind of rewarded. But it's still, on the other hand, it still takes something, right?
It takes, you need to find a balance, and like but this everything you learn by doing it. It's not
Exactly.
that you have to go into that experience, and today I can say, yeah, uh, maybe it's important to take more breaks or something. um yes, but I think anything can suffocate you if you don't kind of find a balance.
Mm.
um and yeah, it's important to take time off, especially mentally. It's not that I
The
don't know,
body,
whatever you
yeah.
do, or even if you're a family guy, that you don't just think about one thing all the time, because then it loses this energy.
Mm.
And I think this is what happened with me with dancing, and maybe also with you, and I think many people, because the to succeed in any area, the demands are very high, especially if it's competitive, and maybe sometimes too much.
Mm.
Sometimes just to succeed in one area, it asks so much. uh you know it asks from you so much that you sacrifice other areas in your life, and to find the right balance, it's important. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, and I agree, right? But look, if and that is the difference between top people and I would say everybody else. If you see like Jordan or Doncic now, or these, so let's say, because I really like Michael Jordan's basketball career and how he was really
Yeah.
locked in. He was locked in all the time, and he was the nastiest guy you wish to have around in the
Yeah.
team. But that was his thing. He was locked in and focused it in so much, and it did suffocate even his teammates. But in the end, there was a result, and everybody are grateful because there was a result. That is also the thing that I think
Yeah,
is
there was a
there.
result, but
Yeah.
if you watch his documentary or for his career, he would be the first one to tell you, or he did tell us
Mhm.
about the hard times as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
He loved the game, he loved the result, he this is what he wanted to do. But he would also acknowledge how much it can take from him. He was tired, he was the media attention was too much, and all the things. And this is something, yeah, it's like there's a price to anything, né?
Exactly. Exactly. And talking about whatever passion there is, there will come time when you like you said, and we can all take that from here. to have this balance. Like, even though if you're so much passionate and pursuing it, it's good then, to have, then you can work with your schedule. That's what I use. It's like to be structured. So, you put in, all right, this many hours per week, I'll put into this stuff, and then put other stuff in your schedule as well. And, sometimes you stick to it, sometimes you don't, but more or less it gives you balance. So, all right. So then you stopped due to what you said. And then what did you do? It's like, all you knew until that point was working in dancing and competing.
Yeah. It is a challenge. It's a challenge still, because I'm involved with dancing for so much time that you become really good at it. It's all you know. Also, it's not as much now, but at that time, that's your identity. It's like, I'm a dancer. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna be world champion. That's your identity. And when you don't have that, then you kind of, it becomes challenging, to ask yourself, who are you if you're not dancing? What are you gonna do? What do you represent? And there were like few years of this. For me, it was just like, okay, I stopped competing, but I didn't stop dancing altogether. I still, practiced a little bit, did some shows, and start teaching kids. Again, back in Novo Mesto first. So I was still connected to dancing. Like I did not want to stop completely. I did not want to just, never dance again. So I went more into the coaching career. I went back to university, finished the studies, I started the master's. But mostly it was just like a few years of figuring out, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do with my dancing. Is there some other stuff I like? And just, I don't know, for me, it was like a few years of just figuring stuff out, doing normal stuff, being back in Slovenia, being back with the people I was not when I was abroad. But dancing was always there, yeah.
Right. And if you look back now, you said 2-3 years figuring out, what did you get out of those years? Because we can talk so much about passion, right? And pursue your passion, because like that is what pumps up like the life in you, to be honest, right? You're feeling alive when you're doing it. It's not something that drains life out of you, so to speak. So and then comes this time, 2 or 3 years of figuring out, where there is, like we said before, there is a lot of, the circumstances, like the surroundings can be like, people, what are you doing? All right, you're 25, right? You should be doing la 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 la. So, and you took 2-3 years of like figuring out. So what did you get out of it that you would like to pass on to other people who might come in a similar situation?
I don't know. That's hard to say. But like, one thing that I don't know what happened to me, because I did not want to let go of dancing. I was still practicing. I was still teaching, which basically made no sense, because I was not competing. I was not earning a lot of money from that. But it was still kind of my thing, and of course, people were expecting me to go to work, find some new career, took a normal job. But I just kind of stay with that, which helped me later on, because then, all this Dancing with the Stars started, and I became dancing much more active again. And I think that's just the reason, because I did not give it up. It was still something I liked. And even though maybe it was expected of me to start doing some serious stuff, I kept developing my dancing, and it paid off, later. So I think the lesson that I can take from that if you like something, if you believe in something, no matter the circumstances, you kind of have to stick with that. Even if you don't know the reason, if there's not direct opportunity in front of you. It's not like that I knew, okay, in 3 months, you're going to get this job, or in 3 months, you're going to get this show. it's like I didn't know, but I kept with it. And the opportunity came later and I was ready to take it. So this is it. But I'm not really sure what I was like. Yeah.
Oh, it's great what you're saying, and it's remembering me of one saying, right? Better to be prepared, even if there never comes an opportunity, than not be prepared when the opportunity comes. So it's kind
Sure.
of a cause in that. So you really liked it, you didn't want to drop it, so you did, what you could did at that time with the opportunities that were available, or the the informations that you had. But I know that we talked about, and I don't really know. You went to Hong Kong or you didn't went to Hong Kong? I know you went there, but I don't know if you stayed there.
Yeah, because when I stopped competitive dancing, then it was again, okay, I'm a good dancer. I have a lot of knowledge. I'm not going to compete again. Or in my mind, I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to start compete again if I'm going to have the right partner.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was in Slovenia with, basically the first thing is I was young, there was, it was hard to make a living as a dancer anyways. And on top of that, I was away for 3 years, so then how I'm going to start earning money here, because I was used to working and earning money, and then I was here now 25, 26, no work, no money, so then as many dancers, there was opportunity to go to Hong Kong or and to New York. I had that year I traveled to Hong Kong and to New York to just try if I'm going to stay there, because there's a lot of work. There's, you can earn some good money. There's also exciting cities, Hong Kong and New York are very interesting. But at that point, I just had enough. I had enough of being abroad. I had enough of, working so much. I just wanted to come back, settle in. Like I said, like Slovenia is a nice country to live in, and it's the hustle is not as hard. If you want to make it like in these big cities, you have to be prepared. And for me, because I stopped competitive dancing, I stopped this dancing for me, I didn't have as much drive anymore, because before, when I was still competing and I wanted to develop myself, then working was not so hard because it was just a necessary step. When I lost, or when I stopped with that, then it just became like, just work with less passion. Even though it was still in dancing, it was not so special to me and I was not prepared to do it anymore. So after these two experiences, I said, okay, I'm going to come home to Slovenia, even though maybe if I'm going to have a little bit less work, or the journey is going to take a little bit more time, I decided that I'm just going to stay here.
All right, and interesting, right? So any people would be like, oh, you had a job opportunity in New York and you didn't take it, or you had a job opportunity in Hong Kong and you didn't take it. I mean, man, that's stupid, And it's paid well. I mean, we know it's paid well. It's like, it's not like you're paid $5 per hour, right? So I mean, it's really courageous, right? You assess the situation and you're like, all right, this is not for me. And this is,
it was not for me. It was not for me, and the feeling was very strong. And this is something like, sometimes I have a hard time explaining, or just like a year or 2 years later, I can explain a little bit better. But for me, I just felt like, I was uninspired by that life. I didn't have this energy in me. And yeah, maybe if I would be 20 years old again, I would take that opportunity. But after these few years, I realized that was not a right decision for me.
Yeah, right. But what I want to say is, like, what we can take from you is that you basically, you go with your guts, kind of literally, which there usually is when you go with your guts. There is no explanation for it. You cannot explain it. You're just like, this is it. It's not for me because it's not for me. And that's the best explanation you can give it at that specific time. Then later on, when other opportunities come, you can go like, you see, look, I felt it, and now this happened, right? But yeah, at that specific time and place, when people ask you like, why didn't you take a job in New York or Hong Kong, it's like, because I didn't take it. That's the best answer sometimes we can give. And I
Yes,
think that is
because Novo Mesto was so much more fun, huh?
yeah.
Because I went back to Novo Mesto. It was
Yeah.
like literally like 1 week I was in New York and the next week I was back in Novo Mesto. And the feeling was weird, but like I just knew I didn't have the energy to continue with that anymore. Right? But you're right. It's like a lot of times you're pressured to explain things, why, what do you want? Why, like, or maybe also what are you going to do? And sometimes it's hard to explain because even you don't know exactly, it's like you just have the feeling or you just have this some drive. But what I learned is that it's going to make sense. Later on, it's going to make sense. Because if you kind of stick with that feeling and you go with it, something will come up and it's gonna make sense at that time, even though you don't know it at when you're making this decision.
Right. So there, kind of a logic question here is, do you have any regrets or resentments over how you did your dancing career?
Well, I can't because I there was no other way for me. I could not known any other better way. Like I did the best I could, like with my knowledge, with my support, with my decisions. I did the best I could. Of course, I would say that I would wish that my career would develop more in the way that I was like when I was young and I saw how I'm gonna become really great and really successful. But I cannot. I cannot say that I have a lot of regrets because I did try really hard.
Yeah, exactly, and that is what that is the point. When you find your passion and pursuing it, it's like there are hardly any regrets in it, because if you go really 100% for it, it's like in the end when you look back, you did your max in those circumstances, with the conditions that were, with the knowledge you have, like you said, everything else at that specific time. And I think that is really something that is also, like, we could say, indicator. Like when you're pursuing your passion, that's the indicator. There are no regrets. There are no like, oh man, I should be, I knew I should do that instead of this, right? Because you didn't have that. It's like when you're pursuing your passion, there rarely comes opportunities like that. There's just like, there's opportunity and you go for it. And then there comes another opportunity and you go for it, right? And then in the between, you choose things, let's say choose, because if we really look what you did, you choose things, you didn't decide, because decisions have explanations and choosing doesn't have explanations. That's like right. So you choose not to go to New York or Hong Kong, and you choose to come back home without any explanation for it. It's just like, that's it. So how did you then find yourself here? Like you said, 1 week I'm in New York, and then another week I'm here in Novo Mesto, in Športna dvorana Marov, like Sports Hall Marov, NXT, like we all know it so well, right? In that little hall, like 20 meters time 10 meters, like and develop. I saw you at that time, like it was all right. I think you and Stasha were back at that time. Like I think that is the time, right?
Yeah, then we started.
You start developing the story, or like being the coaches.
Yeah, she stopped dancing as well at the time, so we started to we took over the club and we started to work together. Yeah.
Right. So what did you get in that experience, like running the club, being the coach, working with young people, like when it's really nothing about you? It's all about being the environment for other people to grow in.
Yeah. Well, many things. Also, I can from what we talked before, like it's like I feel the thought I had when I was listening to you that we kind of have to make a distinction between regrets and mistakes, or because you cannot have any regrets because you do what you could do at the time. Like it couldn't be any other way. But you can recognize the mistakes you did, and you can recognize your shortcomings, and I can recognize a lot of them, but I cannot blame myself because I could not do it any better, or there was maybe also I didn't have anyone in my life that would maybe make me do it better. So I just wanted to say this. So yeah, it's an interesting, like, you learn you learn a lot about yourself by teaching others, because like you said, you have to kind of remove yourself from the situation, which is really, really hard. You have to just kind of be the empty vessel. You have to look at the kids or the adults, whatever you're teaching, and kind of see, okay, what do they need? What can I give them for them to become better? And you have to take yourself out of it. You have to take your ego out. You have to take your preferences out. And this is really, really hard. It's like, because you want to do things like you want to do them, and that doesn't work very good, in the teaching environment. So this is one challenge. The next one is that if you want to, teach someone that challenges you to become better, and I know that I try to do things better because I know that I'm teaching kids, and I'm yelling at them that they have to work their hardest, or I'm yelling at them that they have to, I don't know, be accurate, be decisive. So of course, this is something I need to do as well. So it kind of pushes you in that area. Also,
you were yelling at kids.
Yeah, I was yelling at kids. I tried.
Man, I know. I it's hard not to. I did train. I did train as well, and it's sometimes the situation things, because when we are young, like we were as well, it's like the only in your mind is all over the place. So that is the thing. That is what I actually want to give out. Sometimes coaches yell, and it's not because they're bad people, but it's like to bring focus back in, like to keep them focused. Because when you're young, you might have a lot of you have a lot of things on your mind, like there is school and parents, and girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, and you want to do this stuff, and like sometimes you're not willing to do the training, and then coaches need to do what most people don't do. And I made a joke here if you yell at kids, but it kind of it makes sense. You bring the focus back in when you yell. It kind of interrupts the space. And
I mean, again, you have to ask yourself, are you yelling at them because you're in a bad mood, or you're taking some frustration out, or you're yelling at them because you think it's the best thing to do for them at the moment. And it's this balance is and the parents didn't like it. The parents didn't like it. It's like they don't like that. But okay, I was not yelling all the time,
but you were here, right? So how did you deal with the parents in that case?
It's difficult. I'm still not sure how these things work, Okay, I was in Novo Mesto. It's a small, but it's not like I only taught in Novo Mesto. I taught in Canada. I taught, I don't know, in America, in Denmark. Like it's like I have experience with different, cultures and diff. But what I learned is like other people are not like you, other people, other kids, other parents they don't think like me. And this was very challenging because we are kind of, our natural instinct is that, of course, we think things work how they work for us. This is our base. But different people understand things differently than us. And especially the kids, they speak differently, they think differently. So it was a big challenge that I realized also that all of them are different, and you have to find a common place.
Mm.
With the kids, I would say it's because for me, I was always very motivated and focused on the dancing, and most of them weren't. They were not willing to put the work in. They didn't want to become a great dancer. So this different level is very challenging. And this is why also after a few years, I stopped doing this, because the difference was just too much, because if the student is not as motivated, it's you cannot do it. You cannot achieve a lot. And the parents, they're very different. What's interesting, that when you know the parent, you always realize why the kid behaves in one way, and this is sometimes you cannot be even like angry at the kid or disappointed at the kid, because you know how their parents are. And I realized this connection is very strong, and you can see, like, if the parent is always making excuses or not challenging their kid or not being fair with them, then the kid will be the same way. He will not work, or he will always look for excuses and stuff like that. So this was an interesting thing to see. I say most parents want the best for the kids, but for sure all parents want the best for the kids. I don't know. We had a lot of funny stories, with parents.
Yeah,
sometimes it's more difficult to deal with parents than with kids.
Yeah, and I can align here, because I'm also involved in this, working with kids and teenagers as a Rainbow Warrior for the ADHD. And we came to the same conclusions, right? It's just like, you talk to the parents and you see why the kid is the way he is or she is. And, and that is something that it's not like that is good or bad, but that's just how it is, right? So if you want to do something like, giving this out to everybody, is like, the way you are, that's probably the way your kid will wind up being. It's just how it is. Kids look up to you, right? So all these younger generations, to be honest here, right, and took one on ourselves, or maybe not like directly on ourselves due to we don't have kids yet, but it's like they're mirrors of us. So we being all the time on smartphones, we being all the time distracted by our other things. It's like, that's why they are the way it is. That's why every other kid is on ADHD, on some pills for attention deficit and hyperactive disorder. But if you look at the parents, they're not focused. It's like, you put teachers in a room for 1 hour, they are not focused, and they expect kids to be focused. I mean, and I'm talking that from experience. And that is a really good point here, that we can really look like, all right, let's pay attention to what I'm doing, what I'm saying, especially when I'm dealing with next generation. And there is this gap, right? Like you said, you are on one, you had one approach to this thing. And then as a coach, you're dealing with kids who have whole another thing. And then it's always like you said, you did stop doing because you couldn't work with it anymore. And that's like, and that is a good thing that you stopped, because otherwise it would be like horrendous for everybody. It was destroying you, it would be destroying the kids, right? So it's just like who you want to deal then with life. It comes all to that choice. Like, do you want to deal with people who are not motivated and are just someplace because they have to be someplace, or you want to deal with people who are? And that's also like the people you're being friends with, or the people you work with. You always have this choice. Like, do you want to be with people who are on the same level or on the people who are not? And still there's this mastermind, I would say emotional intelligence in that level, like, empathic intelligence that you can be with wherever people are or whoever people are. But when it comes to profession, it's whole another thing than when it comes to friends or random gatherings.
I agree. Many good points there. It's like I don't envy the kids nowadays, because as an adult, I there's so many challenges already, and the kids have a hard time. It's not easy.
True
It's
that.
not easy for them. It's like their parents, most likely, like you said, yeah, they're not focused. They're not, they're tired as well. They have a lot of worries. They don't have time, and they have to deal with them. And the kids, like, I don't know. It's hard to say because it felt different for us. I don't know. We had the challenges, but today, to grow up today, to see the world how it is, to have this media going for you and smartphones, and it's very challenging. And I think, and then, as a consequence, it becomes challenging for teachers, coaches, mentors, all they have to deal with, because they have limited, powers. And yeah, this I don't have any like very smart answer. I can just observe from what I saw that of course they're good kids. Every kid is good, but they have a hard.
Oh, yeah. I just opened Google for the YouTube music, and I didn't know it popped up above it. So
yeah, okay.
My bad to the chat. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, so this is just my
but it's a really good thing that you brought this up, because
it's like it's a in one case, like you said, yes, the parents, they have a big influence, but then it's also important that the teachers and the coaches and the adult people that are not their parents do their role and try to educate them as well, and raise them with good values. But I feel that the role, the power of us, the outside teachers and mentors, it's limited. It's you cannot achieve a lot, because the world is just crazy. This is kind of how I feel at the moment.
Yeah, right. Maybe the answer is what you said before, right? When we were dancing, it was like the community, like the coaches and parents were together, all in that. They had common meetings together, like the board of the club, that was basically our parents, had the meetings, like they all took role into it. It was a community, right? And nowadays, we are more individuals, and I think that is the biggest lack of it. And another thing I would say, it's from perspective, is that to be honest, the young ones' brains these days are much faster than our brains, and they have to be, and if you don't embrace that, if you don't accept that they might be smarter than we are, not in experience, but in the knowledge and how to deal with situations. When we were growing up, there was certain type of games, right? But nowadays they can play from the age of 6. They can play Call of Duty. That's like 4 hours of panic stress per day that we didn't experience. It's like the most panic stress for us was if you fell down the hill on the grass, right? Yeah. Which is like you roll down and that was it, right? But they're like in 4 hours life danger situation. So I think all that kind of with embracement. But all right, that is also a topic we can cover in podcast. You're kind of a good guy, so if you want to join us for podcast, we are always open for guests. Like we are 3 of us, sure. and we're like we were 4, and then one guy stopped, and then we kind of were like, are we looking for a totally new guy, or should we take in guests? So we are now like discovering what will work best.
Okay, no problem.
I'll hook you up with the topics later on for the January, and you'll say if there is some topic that you would like to do.
Okay.
The thing now is that I need to go pee so bad.
Okay.
So bad.
Good.
So let me put one music on for the time being. We'll put this one that we listened a lot from my cousin. It's band, and I'll be right back.
Okay. It has been really long day, and I'm trying hard to keep the world away. We gotta keep the fire inside us burning safe. Well, I can see in your eyes losing you. This I can't deny. I don't need you tonight, 'cause I've used up all my time. You've gone away. Why don't you stay with me? There's a will, there is a way. 'Cause it's the little things that keep me going on. I need you smiling more. It's the silly stuff that we just can't ignore. 'Cause it's the little things that keep me going on. I need you smiling more. It's the silly stuff that we just can't ignore.
All right, yeah. I'm sorry for this intermezzo, but it's like,
really,
you know.
really long time.
It is what it is.
Yeah, this is it when you do it live, right? I mean, you know, we could record everything and then edit it, but you know, streaming is about live. It's real life on here, and you know, we have great guys with here. The viewers, the community is awesome. So we are all in the same boat together. So you know, I'm sure some of them went to the toilet as well. You know. That's how it is. It, like you said, it is what it is, right? All right. So you know, being back and in Novo Mesto and teaching there and you know learning more about yourself and you know then stopped being as a coach because like you said the difference was too big for you and you didn't want to you know go to say deal with that. What then when you stopped, right? You still want to dance, you're still a dancer, you know. You said you did some shows, but you know they're not like 5 times shows per week, so you can live from them.
Yeah, sure. No, at that time, because firstly I was living in Novo Mesto and teaching in Novo Mesto, then I moved to Ljubljana, and then I was driving from Ljubljana to Novo Mesto a few times a week to teach the kids. But I also started to work in Ljubljana, mostly adults, you know, most social classes and some technique classes, like not a lot, but you know, it was for me, and it was like enough at the time, you know, that I just kind of earned the living. You know, I could have, you know, enough time. Also, yeah, I was studying still at the time. So like the more I started teaching in Ljubljana, the harder it was a little bit to kind of keep, you know, the club running, especially if you're not there, because you know you have to deal with parents every day and stuff. So yeah, after 3 years, I think we just decided that both me and Stasha will just kind of move on from the teaching competitively or teaching kids to compete. Yeah.
Right, and
but I
you
was
know,
still
to stop you there, how hard was to do that? Because that was, you know, that was the club you grew in. It's like, you know, that was our club. That was the club that basically supported us, gave us the basic knowledge, and then you do this, and I think soon after, or even at that time, I don't think if it even exists today. I'm not sure. I'm not on the track, but it does. All right, cool.
It does, yeah, but it's much smaller, you know. Well, it's like it was hard, of course. It's always hard when you put a lot of energy, because we did put a lot of energy and time into developing it and, you know, making a good system and, you know, giving everything we could to the kids. So it's always hard to leave something when you dedicated so much of it. But it's realizing that, you know, these things take 10-15 years, you know, to develop like a good competitive club, especially if the environment is not so supportive, which, you know, Novo Mesto doesn't have a lot of people, a lot of dancers. Also dancing generally in Slovenia, it's on a really low level, especially with the quantity, you know. There's just not a lot of young people dancing ballroom and Latin American. So it's just, you know, it made sense, but it was hard. Especially it was hard for these few kids, you know, that they were the most dedicated, they were the most um, motivated, the parents that were willing to sacrifice the most. For few of them, it was hard, but of course, they found other people that are just as skilled and just as dedicated. So it was hard, but I think it was best for everyone.
All right, cool. And what pops in my mind and what we can really take from your career, what you're sharing so far, is that basically you have this passion, which is dancing, right? And then inside of that passion, we kind of saw you did so many projects, and I think that is really brilliant thing. All right, so you have this passion, right? So, and there is nothing wrong if you sometimes take going to in your case to Canada and then to Denmark, Slovenia, then check out New York, Hong Kong, see that isn't for you, go back to the home thing, stop doing that, and because I think that is also sometimes like a pitfall that we make for ourselves, right? You're pursuing passion and then you only see one path, one project, and if that fails, your passion fails.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we can really take it on from you. Like, all right, your passion is to, I don't know, maybe in my case, stream. And all right, this at the moment we are doing these projects, but open to stop doing them or not doing them and do something else. I think it's the thing that actually then keeps the passion alive while you're learning and discovering yourself, which is really important, that you have to be this open.
Yeah, you're very right. And this is there are always many ways to do something, and I can let's say okay, for the dancing first, there was only, when I was younger, until I was competing, there was only one way, competitive dancing, and this is how you should do it, and this is how you're going to get results, and I was so stuck on this path, I thought that's the only way, and when it didn't work out, it was hard. And also, like, I don't know, when I was already 22 years old, I thought that my career was over because I didn't achieve this result, which is not true. This is like one of the mistakes I made. Like, I thought that if you don't do it one way or don't achieve one way, that it's not going to work out. But later I discovered, like you said, that there are many different ways you can do one thing you like, and it can change. There's no one way. So with dancing, it's like, yes, first it was competing, then it was a lot of teaching, then it became more about shows and choreography and TV work, and it's the same thing but very different. And also what's important here is that you don't have to be the best to do something. Maybe you will become the best, or you don't even have to be good. You can still do what you want, because if you just have this in mind, that you have to become really good or the best at one thing, that this can be your career or this has some value, that's a wrong thinking, because it's going to be very easy for you to stop or get discouraged. You can be a total beginner, and you can start working on one thing, and it can become your life, and this is something I learned through the years, that I don't have to be the world champion to still dance or make a living out of dancing or try new things in dancing. So this is a good point, that it can change and you can find new ways, but it can be around the thing you're passionate about or that you like. And even you can ask yourself, but why do you like this? So if it's dancing, is it because you like to perform? Then you can start performing like I don't know, like a speaker or like a singer or like something completely different, but it's because you like performing. You're gonna still enjoy it because it's performing, even though it's not dancing. Or you can take many other examples.
I mean, I think that's a brilliant point that you just said right now. That's like, and it really lands because you talk from experience, and it's like it's not, you know, two guys sitting together being
Yeah.
philosophical about something, right? But it's like you discover that it's like, you know, and that, you know, whatever we say here, I want to expose that whatever is shared here or stuff like that, it's always really from experience. And what this is, it's not like, you know, you guys go out with this information and take it as the truth, even though Tomaž discovered it, it might not be the truth for you. So what this is about is to encourage you that you go discover it for yourself, you know. That will make a difference for your life. That will bring aliveness, or you know, whatever you want with your life. That will bring it, not the knowledge we put on, but the discovery. So
Yeah, can I say something about this point? Because and this is really frustrating at times, because you can read the books and people tell you stuff, and you know, you, if you think about it, or like you said, yeah, you philosophize about something, you know what the good thing is or what you should do. But if you don't experience it, if you don't really know it, then it doesn't matter. It's like this saying, you know, knowledge will avail you nothing. It's like knowledge, just knowing about something will literally give you nothing if you don't have this internal experience. And you so that means that you just have to do some stuff and see what comes out. Yeah, of course you can educate yourself, but yeah, it's a good point you said. It is about experiencing it. Yeah. And you don't have to be good or exceptional. I was just reading some post today on Instagram. It's like, you know, we live in this culture where it's all about exceptionalism. You know, all the time we open the we all the time we just look at the best people there are. You know, you look at soccer, the best soccer players. You look at movies, great actors. You know, and also, like, it's when we look at football players, it's not about all players. It's all about Ronaldo and Messi. You know, and you have this feeling that everybody's really good at something, and then you have this feeling that if I'm not as good, that it's not worth doing it.
Exactly.
You know? But it's not. It's like there are going to be few exceptional people, and also you can be very good or exceptional one thing, maybe two things, but all the other stuff probably are going to be average, because we just don't have so much time and energy. And you can still do stuff even if you're not exceptional at it.
True that. And it's true. And I really like the point you said before. It's in a discovery, and it is like that, you know. So I can share here because you know, people who watch this, they know. So how we start podcasts, it's like I started with me and Alex, right? And Alex wanted to do it perfectly. He wanted, you know, to you know, until we have the equipment, until we have the room, until we have, you know, the script out, until, you know, we're not really in, we cannot do it. And I'm like the whole other thing. If I want to do it, I will do it, right? Let's do it with what we have and develop it as it goes. And exactly in the face, but not even in the face. It's not like I have that, all right, there are exceptional people, there is me, so I'm going in the face of that. But it's more like in the face of this broad thing that you have to be first perfect and then you can do it. Which basically no exceptional people did that way. Like Ronaldo didn't become perfect in football and then he went playing it, or Messi, right? They were playing it, they developed as it goes, and they become exceptional. I think that is the thing when we forget when we look at, like, let's say now you expose Instagram, when you look at those people and they do exceptional things, and you think, all right, when I will be like them, I will be doing that. But, you know, they didn't become like that, being perfect, and the perfect. I mean, great thing that what you share. So you mentioned, like, right, so you stopped coaching and then you discovered whole new things with dancing, like the TV shows, the shows, the professional. You should also be, if this COVID probably wouldn't happen, you would be a professor at the what is it called? Help me out.
Academy for Dance.
Academy for Dance, right? So, you know, and we whoever knows you in Slovenia, the broad audience knows you from this Dancing with the Stars, right? So what would you get out of this, right? So before it was competitive and teaching, but it's more in a close environment. It's more or less the same people, the same audience, mostly the parents, and very few random people watching that. So, and then you go to television where there's like, all sorts of people watching that, and anything can happen, even, and it was basically live. It's not like something you record. Some parts you recorded, but not the competitive dancing. So
Yeah.
so how was all that?
Um,
Or it is, because you're still part of the crew. So
yeah, yeah. It's I think I'm still figuring it out what all this meant, because it was a very new and different experience. We were all dancers, we were all teachers, so we know how to dance and we know how to teach someone to dance. But it's a TV show, and that's a completely new environment. I think everybody is a little bit different when they put camera. Like you feel different if there's a camera on you. Like a few years ago, I would not be so comfortable talking, and being recorded than I am now, because you just kind of get used to that feeling of cameras, which was very kind of strange and uncomfortable for me in the beginning. But for me, I mainly I like the challenge. I like, it's a very intense experience. It's, you have 1 week, you get a person that you don't know, that's a celebrity. It's like, if they're successful in one field, that means they're probably like some unique personality. You have to start working with them very soon. You have 1 week time. You have to make the right choreography. You have to teach it the right way. You have to perform it. So it's like it's challenging. It's just, you have to deliver every week. And when you just have to deliver, that's a special kind of pressure. And I like that. And I especially like the creativity part, that you're kind of creating the dance numbers and the narrative and so it, all in all, I have to say that it's a nice experience. And I'm glad I was a part of it. Yes.
yeah, and you said you had to deal with this strange feeling in front of the camera. So maybe give us a little more, the thoughts that were running through your head, because what I want to give out here is also, because maybe from your experience, somebody, might have a breakthrough when they're next time in front of the camera, or ask to be in front of the camera. It might go easier for them. Even though, like we said before, it all happens in discovery. You actually have to do it and then discover for yourself,
Yeah.
and deal with it with yourself. But to ask you here, so how did you deal with it? Like, right? So they said they put a camera in front of you, and your mind process was what?
For me, I always have this feeling that I cannot explain myself very well, that I have to say something, I have to be very clear, and I could never do it, but you learn that, like, what if someone, like you said, it's gonna have, for some reason, will have to go in front of the camera, or I don't know, in front of the people to speak. It took me like maybe 2 years to get comfortable, but I did, just because I was forced to do it every week, and then you kind of slowly you forgot about it. It does happen. It's like, first you have a feeling it's always going to be weird, but just by repetition it gets easier. You get more comfortable. And like what is running through your head is like, you just have to be present. That's the thing, because if there's a camera there, then you realize, okay, somebody is going to be watching this, and when they're going to watch, they're going to think something, and they're going to like what I say, or do I say something stupid, or did I explain myself enough clear or stuff. But if you're present in the moment, then you don't have this problem anymore, because you don't worry about the camera, but you worry about what you're doing at the moment. Is it teaching? Is it performing? So basically, yeah. I mean, the trick is to behave like the camera is not there, which sounds easy, but but like I said, you get used to it. This was nice to experience, that just by being there, you get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, great, right? Because I mean, I can find myself in this with this streaming. It's kind of it's similar, right? So it's always this I would say what kicks in for me was like this looking good, right? You want to impress, you want to look good, you want to say something smart, like all this, right? So what would people think? So the trick is, really the mastery of it is really to be present and to be who you are and be proud of who you are. And yeah, you might say some stupid shit. So what, right? So what?
Yeah.
I mean, and but if you will allow yourself to make mistakes or to say stupid shit, it's less likely that will happen. Because when you're so right, because when you're so worried, it's like you will start forgetting things. You will say things that you will be like, where did I come up with that? And it's really the trick is to be present and to be with the person, because usually it's the person on the other side. So to be with them, and then the rest focus on.
Yeah, you're right. The more you think about it.
Yeah. No, just to stop you, I meant like I did the Slovenia Got Talent as well. I mean, I wasn't the main performer, but I was the backup dancer. But still, camera goes through you, right? So it's like it's a bit different than you were, because you're like the main star beside the stars, so you have to give interviews and all that. I was just like their backup dancer, so I needed to smile and perform whatever I was requested to. But still, it's live. There is audience. There is like it's live show. If I messed up as a backup dancer, it's like the whole show is like So there is still this pressure of doing it the way it is, the way it is designed, and not make mistakes.
Yeah, you're right. It depends on the person. It seems kind of simple. Okay, they're filming you, but in reality, it can become a big thing, especially in your head, and you kind of have to get used to it. You have to go through it. But I think it's also about who you are as a person, not just if the camera is there. You have to kind of work on yourself, get to know yourself, be comfortable, because if you're comfortable and self-confident and not so worried about everything, then it's going to be easier to be on the camera. So I think the work comes also there. If you feel very uncomfortable in some situation, you have to ask yourself, why is that? Why is it hard for me to perform or talk to people, or kind of the work must be done also somewhere else. But what helps is like if you're more exposed to it, it helps, and it also it feels less precious. Let's say if you also like you can maybe connect with that. When you had only one show, when you did your first show or your second show, it feels very precious, like because you only have one. So it's very hard for you to make a mistake, or you're really worried it's not going to be good, or you're going to say something stupid or whatever. But if you do 100 of them, then each of them is going to be more relaxed, and you're not going to be so worried if there's one stupid thing in this 100 of them. So it's kind of again, you just kind of have to keep doing it, whatever you're doing, because then you're going to have more opportunities, and if you have songs, you're going to have more songs, and it becomes less pressure. It's less precious, and that means it's also less pressure on you. This is kind of like a funny thing that I discovered as well.
Yeah, and I get it, right? But look, on the other hand, right, your mind also goes to publicity, because you are exposed, right? I was a backup dancer, so it means like nobody came interview me like, hey, how was the experience being as a backup dancer? You were there to to make the stars shine brighter, but or to put up a show for the viewers. But being out there and being interviewed, right? And they ask you about how is it work to this star and la 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 la. It's like, and there might be a publicity thing, like people might go rampage on you or on the social medias, right? Or wherever. So how did you deal with that? And was there like a difference in publicity for you? Were you like recognized on the street, or did suddenly start some messages came in? I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, I'm very famous and
yeah,
like
yeah, in that way.
money
Yeah, I
was
don't know. No, I'm
money
not
was
talking.
thrown
I'm
at
not
me.
talking about money, but it's like I'm
Yeah, I
talking
understand.
about. I'm talking about people's reaction, right?
Yeah. Well, the first thing about talking on the camera, it's like, I mean, you always have a choice if you want to be like really honest, or if you want to say your opinions. You kind of have to wait if it's what's appropriate for you to say, or again, if you just want to be really honest, because sometimes you can just give answers that are smart, that are appropriate, and that can always be your solution. If you don't feel comfortable being too open or to share, I don't know, something vulnerable, you can just keep it short, keep it simple. I just wanted to say that this is always an option. No one's gonna force you to say something. And about this publicity stuff, Slovenia it's a small place, and it's not that if you're on TV, because also some people thought that if you're gonna be on TV 2-3 times, then everybody starts to know you, and it's not like that. Even if it's a big show and people watch it every week, it took like few years before kind of people started to know us. And I mean, it's not a big thing in reality for me. Like it's not nothing special happens. Sometimes people recognize you and they say hi, or they ask if you're from the show, or they tell you how much they like the show. What I noticed the most is that the how they view dancing is changing a little bit. They really like it, they respect it. If you're on TV, they see how well you work. They see that you're a good dancer. They invite you for a show, or they this kind of recognition of dancing becomes better. And I think that's a good thing. And it's like if you go back to the beginning, it's interesting, this kind of arch, that when we started dancing it was a bit weird, but then let's say now that when I'm dancing, or I don't know, you were dancing at your wedding and it was, people like it and they're impressed, and then it comes the full circle, which is an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, cool. I mean, but then worth some money then if people took you to shows. I'm joking. But I gotta say, you say, like, but it's probably not raining, right? That's what you
it's
meant.
not raining. You have to earn with dancing, or whatever, like with every sport, you have to earn. You have to earn everything.
True that. Yeah. So in the meantime, there was the chat was like surprised that I was in Slovenia's Got Talent backup dancer. By the way, I was also dancing in front of 10,000 people with Siddhartha as one of the dancers, being up there on the stage with them. And another thing, I also did TV show. I was in a TV show called The Blind Date. So that was
I remember.
That was like 7 years ago. I don't know. We just so guys, if you want some links, ask Mrs. JP. She will give you the links. She just researched me the other day. So and there is like some, for me it's not embarrassing. It is what it is, right? So you meet in the dark, and the girl went immediately from my face to my body, my arms, straight to the crotch and down, like and I commented like she wanted to know from the beginning what she's dealing with, I guess. I don't know what she did. But I remember I commented that she went in like pig in the pumpkins. It's a saying. We have this saying. She really like rampage on it. You can get the links, Mrs. GP, if you want to share them. You can do that because you were researching. There is also probably on YouTube. It's like I think his name was Adam. I don't remember his surname. He was fresh rapper from Fujina here. But I think later on that song was copyrighted, so that was something going on. But I had nothing to do with it. I was just like, I was dancing in pro dance with Miha Krušić, and he invited me to if I want to be a backup dancer. So that was it.
Cool.
That was it. I don't know, man. I would say Adam. I just know Adam. That's it. I have Verlic in the surname, but I think it's not. It's something else. I'll try to find the link later on. Maybe I'll put it on some later streams, so you guys stay tuned. All right, cool. So I forgot about that. I kind of like I said before, right? Like for me, it's happening so much, right? Especially in the last couple of years. With all this that I'm doing in life, I kind of forget. Like I guess I would need to do a show like this for myself, to remember all the things that I went through. But it is what it is. So there's the TV show, right? And the shows, and to come to the conclusion, like how are you dealing with the situation now? Like we had Miha here, Miha Krušić, who said like to be honest, we're fucked. That's what his expression was. To be honest, we are like that. He's working in a storage facility at the moment, to pay the bills and everything, because there are no shows, there are no things going on. So how it is for you?
Yeah, the dancing scene at the moment is mostly non-existent. It's like everything died overnight, like everything else, we were allowed to teach in the summer and in the beginning of fall, but now again we know what the situation is. So I don't know, I think it's gonna be hard because the dancing scene was developing, and there was the TV show, the academy. We wanted to start the academy for dancing, also like on other areas, especially, let's say, I don't know, hip hop. They were really doing well. There's a lot of dance schools, etc. But now it's gonna be challenging. Because as we know, if there's an economic crisis, the culture and arts, they're the first one to go and last one to come back. A lot of, maybe not a lot, but some dancing studios for sure they're gonna have to close, especially the ones that have to pay the rent. It's just, you cannot pay the rent if you have few months with no money coming in. So I don't know, I think it's going to be challenging for everyone that's going to be trying to do something in this field. I don't know, it's I really admire all the people that try to keep dancing alive in this time, doing their best to keep the studios open when things come back to normal. But I think generally, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle for all of them, all of us. But we have to wait and see, many dancers will have to, I don't know, maybe stop dancing, go abroad where the situation is better, or find new stuff to do,
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking about how you're dealing with all this, because I know like a friend of mine, Karina, who is here, she's doing classes online over Zoom, or I don't know what application there is. So are you also teaching like that, or you're totally on vacation now?
No, I'm on vacation. It's just I don't like this online stuff teaching for dancing. I understand the competitors, but whoever wants to teach online or whoever wants to learn online, it's good. If they feel like this is something they want, it's perfect. And of course, let's say, I don't know, competitors, they have to stay in touch with their coaches. So Zoom lessons are the best thing they can do at the moment. But for me personally, it's hard to teach. I don't think it's very effective. I don't think it's not as fun for me, So we'll see. Now I'm basically more or less on time off. I'm thinking about other stuff as well. I'm not the youngest anymore, so also like this kind of active and performative career will have to end at some point. So I'm thinking about other stuff as well, because I did a master's in sociology, so this is something that's quite interesting for me. I will try to focus on some other thing as well, like I said, because I don't want to stay too close, because if now we cannot dance, maybe it's time to try new thing as well, if this is what the situation wants from us.
All right, cool. I mean, and I just had a thought in between when you went through your hair. So we changed the hairs, right? I have longer ones, you have shorter ones. Usually it was the other way around.
I needed to have a longer ones for the, because if I went to competition or show, I need something to, make my hair. But now that we're just at home, I can, take it off.
Cool. I didn't know that, because I know you have curly hair, so I would imagine that it's harder to sustain them, in a certain shape. So it's better that they're shorter than longer. That would be
it's easier if you have something to work with,
Got it. All right, cool. I mean, we pretty much went through it. It was, really look back in times and get to know you better. Like we never, even though we meet, we never talk like here.
Yeah, we also me. It's rare that we go in the past. There's so much stuff going on now that, especially like you said, some of those things like really feel like past life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm 200 years old by the experience, of all the things.
That's good.
It's good. I don't know what it is. It's just it is what it is. I like this saying really much because it doesn't assess anything. All right. So all right. So you're on vacation, don't know what's next. So you might join us for podcasts. Ladies are open up. Ula and Emma are great. So the topics for the January podcasts are. I know the first one is sex, which is really amazing that and that is basically what the chat, the community, they decide what topic should we cover.
It is. Okay.
So the topics are, I'll let you know. So it's like we have sex, then it's responsibility, free time/time, and fear. And basically how it goes, it always goes from experience, just like here. Just like, you and we look at like what's working, what's not working. Like first we look in the dictionary what says. That's always a cool thing, you look in a dictionary.
Sure.
And then you go what it means for you, and you see you're out of reality so much that you don't even you don't know it's yours. So
I like the fear. I like the fear one. This is what I'm. It's like
you showed it before, so you can explain it also now.
It's a sword. It's a sword. It's like a symbol of courage, and I thought it would be a cool thing to have, because fear is so interesting. What is fear? It's like, okay, there's some physiological thing going on, but fear is like it's nothing. It's it's just but. We have so much fear about stuff, what will happen if you do something. So this is an interesting one.
Yeah, cool. But we can take you in. It's gonna be the last one, so last Monday in January, which is 25th.
Okay, cool.
And it's happening so we meet up a date, and it's happening from 9 till 11, some usually. Okay. But and it's like that. So we take a topic and we are working with it for an hour 15, and then we stop the topic, and then we have also like a random chat, include the chat more in, we pick topics. It's going to be the last one, so we're going to pick topics for February, so like that.
Okay, cool.
And then we just speak, I don't know, four friends sitting together chatting and including all the community. It's really lit. Love the experience of it. You missed the voting. Yeah, you missed the voting, Karina. It was like, and there wasn't a vote actually. It was like, we said chat, you decide, and there wasn't much response. So we just said, whoever types first, the topic he types first, that one we're gonna take. So then 4 people typed topic, typed the topic, and that was the order of it. So it was like sex, responsibility, time, fear. So and we always share from the experience, so what it means for us, what did we think the nature of that topic is, like the nature of fear you expose here, and then what the the examples from our life, how we dealt with it, how we experience it, and whether it's working or not working, or you can share like when it wasn't working and what did you do that then starts working. So it's all from experience. It's also how I want this stream to go, from experience, not opinion. It's like,
Okay, cool.
Opinions are kind of boring. We can argue a lot when it comes to opinions. That some people like that. So yeah, you missed it, Karina. You did. Well, be here the last Monday of January. So this is the last stream of this year. I don't even feel like it because we have so much planned already for the January. So it doesn't even feel like we're completing something and starting something new. We did have a podcast on Monday, the New Year's resolutions. We talked about that, and it was really cool to look into it and how we perceive it, and what's going on in that area. So we start with the podcast on Monday, first stream of the 2021. We're going for a little more than 50 podcasts. We're going for around 100 shows. So that means 100 different guests, like Tomaž was here with us tonight. So next year, this time, we will be around on 130 shows. My goal is 1,000. So, a couple of years we'll be around. That's the plan. We'll see what happens. Like Tomaž said, we get it. You have a passion, you do projects, and then, life happens and you gotta adapt to it. So sometimes it goes as we designed and sometimes it doesn't, but that's the story behind all these things. And of course there will be gaming, continuing with Warzone. I don't know, maybe in January I'll bring in the Fortnite and League of Legends, like remembering the last year this time, it was all about that. So I don't know how it will go exactly, but we'll be around. Until that time, guys, celebrate New Year the way you wanted to celebrate it. Have a really happy New Year, a blessed weekend, spend it with the people you love. We know we cannot be around a lot, so I would say this, make sure that we are not the reason to spread this even more. Take precautions, but in the end you're gonna do what you're gonna do. I don't pretend that you will listen to me. Nobody here will stop smoking because JP said stop smoking. So in the end you will do you. That's it. But I can encourage
stop smoking. If you smoke, stop smoking.
Yeah, stop smoking. Unless you're a lady and you like guys. And that's the stupid shit I said
That's
before.
the introduction for the next week, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah. Hey, guys, really, Tomaž, anything you want to share, like the experience you had here, anything you want to say for the end of it?
Oh, no, it was a nice experience. Nice to talk. Like I said, rarely I go like this in the past. But yeah, it's 2021. I don't even feel like it that it's coming. It's like it's so weird because I think the situation we have, with the virus, it feels like everything is gonna kind of be the same a little bit. So it doesn't feel so different, and no big celebrations tomorrow and stuff. But yeah, it's 2021. It's a new year. It's a new opportunity if you want it. So if you want, you can take advantage of it for sure.
True that. And just like we can add Ula in from Monday, every day is an opportunity. You don't need to wait for Monday or next month or next year to start doing what you want to do or start being who you want to be. But it's a great opportunity because it's, until tomorrow midnight, you can be the asshole and then start being loving, respecting for people that you want to be. But anyway, Tomaž, thank you for being here for the last. Thank you everybody who joined us. The chat, appreciate you, the community. We're growing bigger. Last year, January, it was like 2-3 people. Now it's 10. The max we had 55 when Matis was here. We had 30 when Nika was here. Around 15 to 20 for most of the talk shows and podcasts, which is amazing numbers regarding that. It's a big scene. Twitch TV is bigger in Slovenia. Twitch is not that recognized, and kind of a, how to say, we are breaking the ice, so to speak, in some way, especially having a Slovenian stream 1 time per week, and all the others are in English. So I really appreciate you guys being here, supporting this community, supporting me that I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'll keep on doing it, and at least until the end 2021. And then, like I said, with the team we will assess the situation. It's kind of it's a business wise. I take it as a business, so approaches like that, having a team, having a plan, a structure, the whole thing is in the place. So we just got a consistency. Right now it's the grind, they call it that. That's why they call it. Can you help us, like, you were abroad, and how do you translate the grind? I tried to translate it in Slovenian. I cannot find the word in Slovenian for the grind. It's like
I don't know, man.
Exactly, right? How do you translate the grind? When in English the grind, you know what it means. You're like, you go after it no matter what, and you keep on, grinding, and then translate that to Slovenian. I didn't find the word. And I'm like, gotta then keep on using it. We keep on grinding. But really, guys, I love you all. Thank you. And see you on Monday. Until that time, hug the close ones. Tell them you love them. And, tell it also to the people, to the guy in the mirror or to the woman in the mirror. It's kind of helps a lot if you do that. Especially in the morning, do that. Until next time, see you guys. This is it. Mr. JP out for 2020. Bye-bye.